Today, I'm going to solve the problem of outreach for you. The more you spend time with me, the more you can think, is he a grifter? Is he a scammer? Or does he actually know what he's talking about? Right? I'm telling you this because it works and it's honest. And you want to make sure that people realize you are being genuine, you are being authentic. The main reason for this was to just give you an idea of how to do outreach ethically without being salesy, without destroying your brand. How confident are you in finding a solution to these problems on your own? Maybe I'm not actually going to be able to do this. Maybe I do need help. And let me tell you, it absolutely destroys a brand. I've never really had someone ever say no. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to solve the problem of outreach for you. Now this is the video for those of you that are using a coaching business, you're trying to get more leads for your coaching business, and we know the two free channels that you can use is organic social media and outreach. Basically starting conversations with people. Just look at it that way. Now, before you were skeptical about this, you're probably not, because you've clicked on this video, you want to learn about outreach. But for those of you that have been burned by mentors, business gurus, bad advice out there, where people are telling you to do high volume outreach with low quality, for example, send 30 messages a day, send 100 cold messages a day. Now, I understand that playing the volume game might work, and it does work over time, but it can destroy brand. And I know this because I've played both games. I've played the high volume game, and let me tell you, it absolutely destroys brand. You get those messages in your DMs, you know how frustrating it is when you see those messages in your DMs. It can be patronizing, it can really annoy you. You know they haven't taken time to actually look at you, know who you are, what your name is. It's all automated, it might be AI. Anyway. We're not here to play that game. We want to play the game of you genuinely want to help people, right? You say play the game, but this is what you're in it for. You're a coach. You want to deliver a good service. This is for those of you. You want to increase your brand reputation, and you want to make sure that people realize you are being genuine. You are being authentic. Because if you're not, this video isn't for you. If you want to go find a sleazy, salesy, Wolf of Wall Street tactic, this is not the video for you, right? I love the film, but at the end of the day, you went to jail, right? You were screwing over everyone. That's not who you want to be. Unless you do want to be that guy. Maybe you do, but that's not this video. So anyway, let me tell you what we've done with PB Academy, what we learned, the lessons we learned, and I'm giving you the exact strategy, the exact questions to ask. So I fully believe that if you ask the right questions, you will get the right outcome. It's just about being authentic and genuine and just getting people to tell you rather than you telling them. Let's just get straight to it. I want this to be a quick video. I'm not going to ramble too much. I'm going to stick to everything that I know. And just look, I'm rambling now. I'm going to get into it. Okay. The strategy, right? Before we go into the right questions that you need to be asking, let me just be very clear with you. The target for you right now, let's say, it depends on where you're at, to be fair, but if you're watching this video, you're probably at a level where you're maybe 2 to 5k a month, maybe at that level. Maybe you're trying to get there, but the goal is for you to obviously grow past that, and you need to use this inbound or even outbound sales channel of messaging people, outreach, to actually get there. So what I'm going to set for you, which is going to compound over time, is just 5 a day, right? So I can't even squeeze this anywhere. Let's just put it here. So 5 per day. That is the amount you need to be doing, right? It's going to take you still probably 45 minutes to do this properly, because you're going to need to actually care about what you're doing. This isn't a copy and paste message. This is a genuine message that's going to start conversations, and then the flow you need to go through to actually get people on a call with you, or to your sales process, okay? My background as a fitness coach, if you don't know me, PB Academy, we grew to over 250 plus active clients with a full coaching team and a sales system. And then we've also worked with the gym. We've got a different business, a gym, over 500 members, totally different business, but that's my experience. And over the last 10 years, this is the system that I know works and still works to this day. Okay. Last week alone, we did 4.2k. And that was from genuinely just actually using this system. So it's very powerful when it's done correctly. Icebreaker. Now, this is as simple as swiping up to someone's story. You make sure you follow them first. This is an Instagram I'm going to talk about Instagram purely, right? You swipe up to someone's story, you be genuine, you find something on their profile, you find a post that's interesting, and you just message them just a nice message, right? Nothing else. You just want to start that conversation. You want them to check you out. You want them to see you. It can't be anything immediate, right? We're not dealing in the business to business space. If you're in the business to business space, B2B, then you can treat it like a business. Okay. So that would be basically researching a business, understanding everything about what they do, their offer, really diving deep into everything they've got out on social media, and then putting together basically a one pitch message where you cover everything in one pitch. It's clearly an outreach message. But as a business owner, you're going to look at that, you're going to read that, and you're going to be like, this either makes sense for me to message this guy back or it doesn't, right? Very, very different way of playing the game if you're in the business space compared to when you're dealing with consumers, which is genuinely normal people, okay? That's why you have to play the game and treat it like social media. So with this, you want them to basically see you and not hate you. Like, that's how you're going to introduce yourself. As if you were on the street. Let's imagine you meet someone in the gym. What do? You don't go up to them and say, this is what I offer. Do you want to work with me? Yes or no? That's going to be really annoying, right? You're not dealing with a business owner. So what you want to do is you want to just shake their hand and say, whoa, you're looking, your shoulders are looking pretty pumped today, bro. You're looking pretty good. Like, I know this sounds cringe, but if you were in the gym, what would you generally say to someone? I have no problem. If I see someone in the gym, I'm like, wow, you're looking really good, mate. You're doing really well. Like, you're very strong on this exercise, like something like that. I would just be, only if I meant it. Like, I wouldn't make it up, but I can always find something nice to say. Like, you can always find something nice to say. So just be that positive person that's bumped into someone in the gym and just saying something nice, right? That's the first step, okay? They're going to probably come back to you. I mean, percentage game, right? So over time, people will come back to you because it'll compound if you do 5 a day and you do this right. I wouldn't like tell yourself to do more than that initially. It's obviously something you can improve over time with numbers, but to start with, just set it as 5 a day. You're not going to hate doing it. You're going to find the right people, and you don't just do this to anyone. You do it to your target audience. If you haven't identified that yet, there's going to be a sheet below where you can click the link, and it's our sheet we use to identify your target audience for free. Okay, you just find the people that look like your ideal customer, and then you use this tactic. So then they come back. And you need to ask a relevant question now. So identifying a problem, or the problem they at least think they have, right? Which is two very different things. So how do you do this? You just say, in the nicest way possible, you're always working hard on content, right? You're always working hard on thinking of new ideas. So what do you say? You've gone back on forth on a genuine message. You just say, all right, mate, I'm just thinking of some topic ideas to talk about on my next batch of social media content. If you've checked out my profile, you've probably seen a lot of the stuff that I do, and I want to dive in deep because I'm trying to help as many people as possible. Do you have anything at the moment that you're struggling with, or anything that you'd like me to cover? It would really mean a lot because I'm just trying to think of ideas. That's as genuine as you can be, and it works, right? I'm telling you this because it works, and it's honest. Like, there's never going to be a time where someone's going to tell you something and you're going to be like, well, that's useless, because you're always trying to think of new ideas anyway. And if it's coming from your target audience, great, add them to the content bank. But what does this do? At the same time, it brings up stuff they're interested in, topics they're interested in, and problems they're potentially looking to solve. Now, this is where the next part comes in. Value up front. I'm a massive, massive believer in value up front. 2 reasons. One, because it's nice, it's gifting, and when you gift something to someone, they always feel like they need to reciprocate that, and they feel like they owe you something, right? Bit of psychological warfare going on in the nicest way possible, but you are just being nice as well. You're trying to help people, but they do feel the need to then at least respond to your messages in future or something like that, right? So value up front, what can you give them? This is where lead magnets come into play, right? If you don't know what lead magnets are, then you need to do a lot more work. You need to find out. There's so much free information on there on lead magnets, but needs to solve a specific, unique problem. And we built out a massive database. We must have over 60 odd lead magnets over the years we've just produced, right? For every possible problem you can imagine in the social media, in the fitness space, we've covered it with a deep lead magnet. And a lead magnet can look like, it can be a PDF where you've just drawn up a lot of information. What I prefer these days, because of the 7-11-4 rule with basically what it takes for someone to buy from you and trust you, which is 7 hours of content they need to consume over 11 different touch points in 4 different locations. So how can we close that gap and inject that trust into someone? YouTube long form content, just like what you're watching with me today. Okay, the more you spend time with me, the more you can think, is he a grifter, is he a scammer, or does he actually know what he's talking about? Has he got experience in doing this stuff, and do I trust him? Simple as that. Up to you. Some people won't trust me, some people will trust me. That's just the way the world is, right? So value up front. What can I give this guy? Let's just say, yeah, I've been going to the gym for a couple of years, I've been struggling to grow my biceps. Great. I've got this video I've produced a couple of months back, literally diving into all of the techniques we use with our clients for those that struggle to grow their biceps. You can watch it maybe when you're doing your next cardio session. You don't have to watch it. It's fine. If you don't want to learn anything, don't say that. But sometimes I've said it if I'm just being cheeky. But yeah, I would send that over to someone, right? You can do it as a lead magnet if you want, if you're doing huge volume. Like, let's say, like when we were scaling up, we always had it as lead magnets because we needed to collect their information. So we had their email address, then we would email them. They'd have email campaigns, and like it was a deep system. If you're starting off, don't do that. Just send them the link and just use your own Google sheet and note down their name and then a follow-up date. So have a sheet. All you need is their name, their Instagram profile, a few notes about your conversation, and an automated next follow-up date. So when are you going to basically text them next? So simple as that, right? You leave that go for a little bit, okay? You collect the data, you write it down in the Google sheet. So we've got to this point here now, all right? That's a tick there. So we've done that. This is when you follow up. So at this point here, this is the cutoff, right? And this is why it compounds over time. So you leave that person alone. So you're not trying to just grow as many clients as possible from today. You're thinking of the long term. You're thinking of building a brand. You're not being a pushy salesperson. You let them digest the content. You let them basically sit down and spend time with you. And if you don't do YouTube, right, I would definitely suggest that you do, because it's a very easy to way. You know that 7-11-4 rule, to spend 7 hours with someone is a very easy way for you to just start injecting 20 minutes. It adds up quicker than trying to send a 1 minute reel. It's going to take years. That's why people think it takes time for people to be nurtured. It doesn't take months or years. Technically it takes hours. Okay, you just need to shorten that cycle of how long it takes them to consume your content. If I had a 7-hour course on YouTube for free, you watch that whole thing, you'd trust me and you'd buy from me if you liked me. If you didn't, then fine, but that's fine. Just you don't have to like me, right? I really don't care. But if you do like me, then I do care. So it's me trying to be funny. It's like early in the morning and my banter hasn't woken up yet. But anyway, positive reinforcement. This is how you just kickstart that conversation again, because it's dead. They've watched your stuff. Maybe they didn't. You can just send them a message of basically, all right, mate, just wondering if you managed to get the time to watch the video yet. Did it help at all, and have you applied it? 2 reasons why this works, right? I keep saying 2. There might not be 2, but a clear reason why this works. Number 1, it already puts them on, it puts them up for judgment a little bit, because if they haven't done the thing that you've given them for free, it's already exposing that maybe they're not keeping themselves accountable, and they're not going to actually make progress as quickly as they think they are. So if you ideally leave it go 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks before you follow up with them. That's the kind of the golden rule that I stick with. It gives them enough time to have consumed it, and should have consumed it in that time. No one's too busy to not watch a quick video in that time. And then, so it exposes them and their ability to keep themselves accountable. Or better yet, they do use the free thing and they actually get a benefit from it. So they've watched it, they've applied it in the gym, and it's solved the problem for them. So solved a very specific, unique problem, and they think, this guy knows his stuff. This really helped. This little tweak that I made to my technique really made a difference. They've actually used what you've told them, and it's made a difference to them, right? So I'm going to take a quick drink. I don't know why, but when I make YouTube videos, my throat goes more dry, and I think it's because I'm like passionate. But maybe if you don't like it, if I talk too much, comment below and tell me to shut up. Next part is the goal. So they've had that quick win, or maybe they didn't apply it, right? Because there's 2 branches now as to how this conversation can go. And you can say, all right, okay, cool. Really good. Really glad this has helped. Blah, blah, blah. It's hard to have a conversation in your head when you. Anyway, just out of curiosity, what is the goal you're actually aiming for? Like, what is the goal? Simple as that, right? Very quick one question. Never ask 2 questions in one go. Those quick little tips. Never do that because that's confusing and complicated. Just treat it as if you're having a conversation in the gym, right? Not too long of a paragraph, no detail, like just quick back and forth so they can go on it. They don't have to take ages reading it. They can just reply quickly if they want to. And they can say, yeah, I'm just trying to, I want to gain a little bit more muscle mass, or I want to lose a bit of body fat before summer. I've got this holiday coming up. They might give you all that information very quickly, right? So great, you've got more to work with now. So you can say, next point, problem aware, right? So you've already kind of touched on a few problems they might have mentioned here. Now they might trust you a little bit more, so they'll open up a little bit. So what's the real problem? Difference between problem aware and problem unaware is sometimes people think they've got a problem that it's not actually the real problem. They might say a problem they think they have. For example, I can't lose body fat. I can't lose body fat because I'm eating, 500 calories a day from strawberries and that's it. And then you say, actually, no, it could be the fact that you're still having 20 Cokes a day. This is a terrible example. But anyway, the point is that sometimes they say a problem is not the real problem because you're the expert, you're the doctor, you know what the real problem might be. So they say, so you ask them, what are you struggling with? What's holding you back from achieving that goal? Because they've just told you the goal. And they tell you what that problem is. It could be, I'm just really struggling with time to get to the gym. I know I need to do loads of cardio. There we go. I know I need to do loads of cardio to get in the shape I want to, and I just don't have the time to fit it in. So don't have the time, thinks they need to do loads of cardio. That's the problem. And you can then use your expertise to quickly course correct that and just give a little bit of knowledge and say, well, in my experience, it's not really about the amount of cardio you actually do. It's just making sure that you balance the amount of calories you consume compared to the expenditure you're doing. So if you actually have a good strategy in place for the gym to maybe just go 3 times a week, 45 minutes a day, 45 minutes 3 times a week, and you control your nutrition around that, then you can still get the results you want. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So that's already identified now. An issue for them, and that's you explaining or demonstrating the expertise you've got, right? You could do that, and I would do that in a voice note, definitely, so it doesn't come across the wrong way or patronizing or anything. If you can voice note, always a little bit better when it comes down to stuff you want to explain. Solution aware. So I would demonstrate my expertise, but always leave something out as well, okay? Because then you say, well, you demonstrate that bit of expertise, you kind of prove them a little bit wrong. You don't want to prove them wrong, right? Oh my God, I'm going back to myself. You don't want to prove everything they say wrong because you don't want to go in a debate. Like the expertise is always done on the coaching after they've paid you. That's where you really want to give away all your knowledge and help them as much as possible. Now, you still want to agree with what the symptom is, so the pain they're feeling. You say, yeah, I understand you think it's this, but it might also be this. So just get their mind open. Don't completely say, no, you're wrong, because getting in an argument like that with someone in the DMs at this point is never going to be good, right? So you just want to basically kind of validate the problem, but also say it might actually be this as well. So you're just putting other problems out there that it might be. Then you finish with, how confident are you in finding a solution to these problems on your own? And you say on your own as well, because that then makes them think, like, am I going to be able to solve this? Have I in the past? No. And then they might just be honest with you. They might just say, no, I've been trying to do this for like a good few years. This has always been a struggle for me. I don't know how confident I am at actually doing this. And then you can lead that on with the accountability part of just saying, what's the likelihood of you actually achieving this on your own? And just ask that question again. And then they will probably say, and this is the yes or no, they might say, yeah, I'm definitely likely. And if they've all, I would actually ask them as well. If you want to ask them before this, you can actually say, this is me pulling on loads of different conversations I've had now. So you can actually say, how long have you actually been trying to solve this problem already? And if they expose that gap of like a lot of time, then you can say, well, what's the likelihood, seeing as you've been trying to solve this for long, still being able to achieve this on your own? So what's the likelihood of you actually still solving this on your own? And they will probably then, that'll expose to themselves that maybe I'm not actually going to be able to do this. Maybe I do need help. And you just got to open them up to that possibility of them needing help. And listen, some people are way more open than others. Like some people are open to personal development and understand the value in having help. Some people are very, very tough to even see that or admit that they need help, right? It's very hard to cover that in a DM anyway, but the people that have been following you, that have been consuming your content, they will be more open to you and your expertise. So that's when you position yourself and you say, I really appreciate you being honest with the fact that you might need help. And then you follow up with a second message. Don't do it in the same message. Follow up with a second message and say, listen, I've got this time available. It could be like a time this evening or this time tomorrow. Always give 2 different times on 2 different days, and just say, I've got 15 minutes spare. If you wanted to jump on a call, I'd be more than happy to see if I can help you. Just map out a clear plan to actually achieve this goal. And if you feel like you'd benefit from working with me to give you that accountability, we can of course do that, but there's no obligation. If you want to, either way, you leave that call with a clear plan of what it is we would do. So I've never really had someone ever say no to the way you present that, because it's just a no-brainer. It's free. It's a call. Yes, a lot of people will be wary that it is a sales call, but as long as you say, listen, in that same message, there's no obligation for you to go forward and work with me. At least you're going to leave this call with a lot more information on what we would do if we were to try and attack this problem and achieve that goal together. So yeah, that is the way I would run through it. I wasn't going to use this video to actually go through all the specific questions, because I'm just pulling them from the top of my head and like trying to pull that conversation together on the top of my head. So I'm sorry, I apologize if it's been a bit all over the place. The main reason for this was to just give you an idea of how to do outreach ethically without being salesy, without destroying your brand. If you do it like this and you offer value up front, then it's very hard for people to complain about the fact you've DM'd them, right? If you go in and treat it like a business though, and try and DM and pitch immediately, you're going to get shut out, right? From consumers, you're going to get shut out. If you're dealing with a business and a business owner, they'd actually probably prefer the complete opposite approach to this. But when you're dealing with someone that's on Instagram, on social media, this approach works very well. We've tried and tested it. We still use it and it works. So I hope this helps. If there's anything you want to ask about these specific pillars, comment them below, and if you want me to stop making these videos, DM me or comment and tell me to stop. Right? No, I'm joking. Yeah, if you like this, you're trying to grow and scale a service business, coaching business, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to give away as much as I can about what I've learned over the years, and I just enjoy making this content. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you soon.